Welcome. I'm Jessica Van Hedlin, Dom Stewart, Google Support Specialist, and today we're just going to go over Google Drive. Google Drive has made some enhancements and changes throughout this last year, and we just want to give you an understanding of what it looks like as of April 9th of 2024. So with that, let's go ahead and take a quick tour to understand the new layout that is available for you within Google Drive. So let's start from the top. You still have the option to create new content by clicking on the New button, or you can create new folders, Google Docs, and don't forget the More option. The other thing is you scroll down, you have a new option, which is the Home button. You click on the Home button, then you can actually filter out content by using the search tips. So for example, I currently have files selected, and I could now select just folders, and then it'll just appear the folders that I own directly in my home. You also have other search tips that you can select from, which we'll talk more about in a little bit. As you navigate to the left, there's a new option called Activity. Let's go ahead and click on Activity. And what you will find here is 3 different categories. You will find Access Request, meaning someone has requested access to a file inside your Google Drive. In this example, a newsletter. And I can quickly see that Trainer 5 has requested access, and I can manage the access by continuing on. The other category is approvals. If you're using the file approval process within Google Doc editors, you have the option to approve documents. And this is also a dashboard where you can quickly review any document that you are being asked to approve. And lastly, the third category is recent comments, where you can quickly manage your comments and respond to those comments directly from this activity window as well. Next thing, let's go ahead and talk about workspaces. Workspaces is a collective bin of files up to 25. It's just a way to quickly access them. As you can see, I have one workspace available here inside this trainer account, where I'm doing the presentation on Q1 training, then I can quickly find those files that I'm working on directly here. So it's just a way to collect your files in one particular spot. Let's go ahead and move to My Drive. Now, you'll notice in My Drive, you can click on My Drive, and your My Drive is kind of your personal drive. It is how you want to organize files that you own, but also add shortcuts of files that you do not own. So you can see there are several examples here we'll talk more about. But one of the hidden gems that most people do not know or forget about is on the left-hand side, next to My Drive, is a little triangle. I strongly encourage you to click on that little triangle. As you do, you will see all the list of folders and shortcuts that you have placed in your My Drive. This is really important to understand. Here's an example of vacation details. It is a shortcut that I have placed inside My Drive. A shortcut, again, is just a quick way to access to that file or folder, in this case, in this location, folder, where you can quickly access in your My Drive. As we move on, shared drive is a team drive concept. Same thing if you have multiple shared drives, which not all agencies in the state of Iowa use shared drives. But if you click on the drop-down arrow, same concept, you can see your list of shared drives. There's more resources regarding shared drives on our Google Help website. Let's go ahead and continue on. Shared with Me. This is an area where you do not clean out, but it is a place that you need to know that it is a location. By definition, it is a filter. It is any file or folder that has been shared to you. So you'll notice I'm currently in Trainer 13's account, and you'll see files and folders that have been shared to this particular account. This is not a place where you really ever want to clean or remove out. This is a dirty kitchen. What I mean is, this is not a kitchen you need to clean. So just remember, this is just a location with a filter of a tag that anything is shared with me. So it's a location to help find and narrow your searches as you look inside Drive. But again, this is something that you'll never want to clean out. Recent is another filter, meaning you've recently been on a document. So for example, I was recently, no pun intended, I was working on this newsletter document. It's just a quick way to access files that you've currently been working on. Let's go ahead and click on Starred. Starred is another filter option where you can star a document and then put it in the filter option Starred. So you can also remove a star, which is then obviously going to remove that filter and it no longer appear in Starred. Starred is used in several different ways, such as a to-do list, maybe a document it needs to go back to, or it is a most used frequently document that you want to find. So again, Starred is a nice option. Spam I will not talk about today, but trash is also another place that you might want to be aware of. If you delete a file, it will then go into the trash bin and it will stay there for 30 days. And on the 31st day, it will be permanently deleted. Let's go ahead and move to the right-hand side of the Google Drive interface. I'm going to click on My Drive. You will find there are two options that you can view your files and folders. I'm currently in List View. You can then toggle to Grid View. Grid View is really a good feature when you're dealing with photos or PDFs. As you can see, then you get a thumbnail version of that particular file or folder. The other option is I'm going to go ahead and select on a folder here, Training. You have a little eye right next to the Grid and List View. This is a really handy tool. I'm going to go ahead and click on the eye, and what it does, it gives you the details of that particular item selected. In this example, I have Training selected. As you can see, it is selected over here on the left-hand side, and it is giving me details of the training folder. It tells me who has access, where it's located, and so much more. Depending on the file or folder, you might have even additional tabs in the activity window. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and just show you the activity, which tells me all the things that have taken place on the particular item that is selected. So it's a really good, valuable tool to have a better understanding of what has taken place on that file or folder that you have selected. Moving on, I'm going to go back to My Drive. One of the best things that we need to be aware of within Google Drive is how to search. Google has made many enhancements regarding searching within Google Drive. So with that, let's first do what most of us do, is we always just type in a keyword. We have some idea what we're looking for. It is either something that is a keyword within the document or the document title. As we notice, I typed in the word newsletter, and you'll notice that some of these items do not have newsletter in the title field. So keep that in mind. It is searching the entire contents of the file that we're looking for. So that is just really kind of makes the search really big sometimes. So how do you narrow down a search? Well, the good news, Google gives us more than one way to narrow or refine our search. Up at the top right-hand corner of your search menu, you have an option to actually select the drop-down or the text box fields and add content to refine your search. So for example, if I just want to look for a document, because more than likely you know the type of document you're looking for, you know the keyword, which is what most of us do know when we're looking for a particular file. So I want to go ahead and select document. And you can see you can actually refine the search even further in this advanced search option. So keep that in mind as you are searching. I'm going to go ahead and search here. But what's even better, which I find more useful for me and other users, is you have these search tips now. Notice that it already selected documents because I selected documents from the advanced search option. So that's a really nice feature that it brought it over in the search tips. However, maybe I'm looking for a particular document owned by me or shared with. You can actually select by people. Well, notice there's an option to select all, owner, etc. Again, a great way to refine your search. And as we continue on, you can actually modify it, what has been updated in the last 30 days. As you can see, my search is getting much smaller, and now I'm kind of finding the document. In this case, I'm looking for this newsletter that was updated on March 21st is the document I'm looking for. So again, you can really refine all your searches. The other thing I want to point out, when you are searching within Google Drive, you will always notice when you are searching, you will actually have a new column that many people seem to miss, is actually the location of where that file or folder is located. And you can actually click on My Drive and it will take you to that location. You also notice you do have some hover actions as well to make it quick and easy and accessible to make changes. Also in Google Land, we're always familiar with the three dots, dot, dot, dot. Google's got more for you, where you can also download, share, or organize, and etc. by the three dots. So let's go ahead and go back to My Drive. I want to go ahead and show you some other important tips and tricks within Google Drive and Google Workspace altogether. Did you know you can right-click within Google Workspace? You sure can. Right-click, and right-click some more. So for example, if I right-click on this Hillary sample, if I right-click on this, notice I have several options. Obviously, this will vary depending on the file or folder you are selecting, and will give you the options that's available for you. So for example, I can actually right-click on a file and click Share, Copy Link, or best yet, I can organize it, move it, add a shortcut, add a star, change the color. The other thing is the I already talked to you about the I. It gives you details of that particular file or folder, or you can actually refine your search directly here and search only in that particular folder that's selected. So again, a lot of options when you right click. You can right click on a file or a folder. So do not be afraid to do the right click option. Let's go ahead and click on the sample forms here, for example. If you click on the samples forms, we're going directly into breadcrumbs. Notice that the breadcrumbs of this particular folder infrastructure is my drive, my drive, my drive, and I'm now in the folder called sample forms. Awesome. This is the same functionality that you're used to within File Explorer. You will notice that is the breadcrumbs, that is the location that I'm currently in. So if I right click directly from here and create a document or go to new, create a document, it's actually going to put that file that I create directly in the breadcrumbs that are appearing on here. So for example, if I go to File, New Google Docs, and I call it test, you will then see, since I was inside those breadcrumbs, that that particular file is now stored directly into sample forms. Isn't that amazing? So now, the other thing I can strongly tell you and encourage you, as my years of experience, what you need to think about differently that you're not used to if you're new to Google Drive is that you do not need to save. There is no save as, there is no file save as, because Google does what? It automatically saves your files as you update them. How cool is that? So with that, what we seem to forget though is we are still responsible to organize our files and folders when we create them. So let's go ahead and make a document and show you best practice when you're creating a document from Google Drive or in a folder. First thing, you can always go to new and create a document in this example. Then we need to name the file. So I'm going to go ahead and call it sample demo, and I have named the file. Good job, me. I have done best practice, 1 out of 2. Second thing is I need to think about this particular document. Is it important for me? Am I going to go back to it? I want to be organized. So what should I do? Notice I go to File. There is no file save as what we're used to in the Microsoft Office environment. However, we will still want to move this file into a nice folder infrastructure. As always, Google gives us multiple ways to do the exact same thing. We could go to File, Move, or if you're just naming the document, you can just click on the little folder icon, and then you have the option to move it from here as well. Now, Google is trying to help you by providing suggested items here as you choose. However, if you're new to Google Drive, I encourage you to go to All Locations, select the location, which most of you will be My Drive. Keep going and toggling to the right, or you can always double click, whatever works for you, but find that folder infrastructure that you want to put it into. And if you don't have that folder infrastructure or need to create a new folder, no worries. You can always create one from the go by clicking on New Folder down here. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the samples form. Again, you can click Move or go further into the folder infrastructure and view the contents, or you can double click on the folder. I'm going to go ahead and double click, and now I have found a location where I want to put this particular folder in, or this document. I'm going to move it into the sample forms, and voila, I have done best practice, which is name it and move it. So again, same concept, just slightly different vocab to help you better understand what you need to do. The other thing that people find confusing is shortcuts. So let's briefly talk about shortcuts, and we'll almost be done here. All right, so let's go ahead and find a folder that is not owned by me. And I want to go ahead and add that shortcut directly into my drive. Now, some of you will receive an email notification when something is shared to you. You can actually do the same thing in the sense of making that conscious decision. Is this folder or file important to me? If it is, then I strongly encourage you to do what? That's right. Organize the file or folder where you can quickly find it. But in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and show you another way you can search, just so you're familiar with that. I'm going to go to the top of the search option and select the type of item that I want to search. In this case, I want to search for a folder. And I can also use the search tips over here, but this time I want to look for a folder that is owned by Trainer 5. So I'm going to select Trainer 5, and Trainer 5 is the owner. There, I have a folder called Project Fun. I am always in this project and I have a hard time finding it. So I always have to search for it. So then I need to make a conscious decision to add a shortcut to my drive so I can quickly find this folder that I do not own, but I do want to go ahead and add it to my drive so I can quickly find it. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my famous right click. And what am I trying to do? That's correct. I am trying to organize it. You'll notice that move is grayed out because I do not own it and I do not have rights to move this particular item. But I do have the option to add a shortcut. So I'm going to go ahead and click add shortcut. And then I need to just choose the location of where I want to add this shortcut. The beauty of Google is it allows you to have shortcuts in multiple locations. So be aware of that. However, in this example, I'm just going to go ahead and add this shortcut into my drive. So you can see that the selection is my drive and select add. By doing that, what has happened is the project fund is still not owned by me. It is still owned by trainer 5. Remember, I'm trainer 13 today, but it's still in the location shared with me. The actual shortcut is owned by me, but it is just a link to that project fund folder. So you'll notice under my drive, you will find a new shortcut called project fund located right here. Another prime example, you can have multiple shortcuts and all directly to the same particular location. So trust me, I'm going to click on project fund. Notice that it opened up this particular folder with these two documents called fund and fund agenda. If I click on the other shortcut that I must have already created earlier, I click on project fund, notice it's fund and fund agenda. That's right. It's the exact same document. It is just a shortcut to that location. It is the same concept as when you add a shortcut to your desktop, right? When you click on that shortcut on your desktop, it takes you to that particular location, that same location. So when we start thinking of all these things that are inside Google Drive, you will find it functions very similar to what you already know. Yes, the layout looks different. The design is slightly different. However, the functionality, the breadcrumbs, the information about the file and folder, right click, and all those things are all there inside your Google Drive. That's correct. So I do encourage you to check out all the resources that I have on Google Drive training if you choose to. However, keep in mind, things do change. Change is a beautiful word where we did get to continue to grow. And with that, I do want to point out those videos are a year old. However, the concept that I just went over, organize, best practices, are all right there in just a more of a granular detail. The screens might look slightly different, but the concept is there, the why and the how. So with that, thank you for your time to learn more about Google Drive. Thank you.